And welcome to another episode of On the Record. I'm your host, Michael Stock. Today in studio I have Chief Carl Horn of the Mohawk Council of Kahnawake, and we're going to be discussing the issue in this community around the drugs. It's always been a problem in our community as well as a lot of other communities, but recently Carl has taken the ball and running with it, and he's starting to do different projects and getting more information out there in regards to the drug problems that we have in our community. Good morning, Carl.
Thank you.
The last time we were on, it was a little different issue. It seems like you like to run with the big dogs and dealing with some of the hard issues in the community. But today we're talking about the issue surrounding drugs. Can you tell us, I guess, what you've been doing up to now in the last couple of weeks since you've publicly said that you want to deal with this issue? What are you doing now?
Well, let me begin by saying, everybody knows I was a peacekeeper, and I have experience dealing with issues involving drugs, especially with our youth. When I got into council, I felt it was necessary to try and address some of these issues that affect our community every day. Obviously, I felt membership was the top priority, but the drug issue, especially among our youth, is not too far behind. I was working in partnership with the peacekeepers as well as KSCS. I got involved with the task force on the drug issue, and I felt that more public statements and more campaigning towards zero tolerance should be implemented. I recently had a slogan put on the Kahnawake Sports Complex boards on both sides, the home side and the visitor side. It's pretty much a simple message: just say no to drugs. I took part in a long day session, a whole day session at the Kahnawake Survival School on the issue about drugs. I was a speaker throughout the day to various age groups. It was just good to see more community members got involved, who have no they're just everyday people that have jobs, but were affected either themselves personally or they seen the effects of what drugs can do to a family and to a person. So I wasn't the only individual there. My hat goes off to Guyana Sky. She organized the whole thing where we had numerous guest speakers, I believe 10 total. Just to speak to the youth, the students.
And they had given up their anonymity to go there.
Yeah, they went on their own. I mean, they identified themselves. They identified the struggles that they had with various, stages in their life involving drugs. And I spoke to them personally. I recently, even prior to that, went on TV and the radio and the paper and said, there's and it's no secret that there's a drug problem, especially among our youth. And I received phone calls at my house and even visitors to my house and to the office saying, you're right, I went through it, I lost my family, I lost my job, I lost my dignity, my reputation, whatever, and I don't want to see that happen to the future generations. And I said, let's do something about it. Guyanus was advised that I'm receiving, community members' support on this issue, and as well myself and Chief Johnny Montour, we were able to organize, along with Guyanus, certain individuals that voluntarily went all day and spoke about their life experiences involving the social issues that affected them and their families. And we're all on one page saying, we have to get the message out to 13-year-olds and 14-year-olds before they get to that point. And I personally see a lot of potential out there, athletic-wise and academic-wise, and there's nothing worse than wasted talent. And if you get involved with with drugs, it's just a downward spiral. And I just want to get that message out to them somehow. Like I said, I see a lot of potential in our youth. There are future leaders, future teachers and policemen and police officers, and whatever they want to be. They're our future, and I want to make sure I do everything that I could to make sure they have a clear path to success, and not swayed away by the drug issue that plagues our community today.
I had spoken to some of the individuals had gone speak at the school, and they said it was pretty positive.
Yeah.
There was a lot of the students had asked them a lot of questions, and it's a start. I think that as you said before, that the you start hitting all the other schools.
Mm-hmm.
No place is immune to it, and unfortunately, it touches every part of our community and every other community. But I mean, our concentration is here, so it's a matter of how can we keep that momentum going? Because over the years, I know I've been involved for many years in regards to the same thing, and what I found was that for a little while, everybody jumps on the bandwagon, and then it starts phasing out. Mm-hmm. Have you thought of that, and how can you keep the momentum going, for yourself? Because it will take a lot of time, mm-hmm. and obviously it's not your only portfolio that you're dealing with, it's a lot of other things.
First, you made a good point that there's no other place that's immune to it. I mean, let's not forget that, regardless of you're rich, you're poor, you're in a private school, public school, the drugs are going to be there.
They don't discriminate.
No. It's important to understand that, we started with the survival school, but there's other, teenagers that go out to outside schools. I have 2 children of my own that go to an outside school, high school, and there's a lot of other Kahnawake students that go there, and I see every day and I hear stories every day that how much potential they have, whether it be in soccer, lacrosse, hockey, running, even academic-wise, whether you're on the honor roll, straight A student, and I want to see them progress to get scholarships and move on to bigger and better things. But if they get involved with drugs at such a young age, I mean, those dreams and aspirations can be squashed pretty fast. And I'm here now, and I'm going to do my best to try and keep the momentum going on various issues. And I feel personally the drug issue has to be addressed. And as a community, we have to sort of wage a war on drugs, and it has to be done because it's our future generations. They're going from grade 6 to grade 7. And they're already experienced with not just marijuana. We're talking ecstasies out there, crack cocaine, and crystal meth. And for a teenager, 13 years old, 14 years old, getting involved with that, and it's happening because I've seen it. My years of experience, and to me that's enough's enough. It has to be addressed somehow, and I'm going to do everything in my power and authority to try and address this issue, and at the end of my term or whatever happens in the future, if I can just make a difference in one child's life or one teenager's life, then I'll say, hey, I did my job.
What are you doing different that hasn't been done in the past?
Well,
community services have been always working on this issue. I mean, a lot of the schools have their own programs running always, and they're always talking about, maybe not as much in your face, but they're doing that. So what are you bringing to the table to help, I guess, bolster whatever is going on now?
First of all, I think people know that my 12-year experience at peacekeeper, number one, and number two, I'm going to be vocal about the issue. I'm going to come on TV. I'm going to say it in the paper, on the radio, and to sort of put a little pressure on various organizations. Not to say that they need it, but we have to address it. It has to be addressed now. Not to say that they weren't doing their work before, and they have been. They made great strides.